Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you seasoned veterans of what we do around here. What we do around here is bring about conversations of a psychological, mental health, emotional health paradigm. We do that as often as we can, usually several times per week. We get over 1,200 of these available for your listening pleasure, and we continue to do as much as we can to bring more into your awareness, and we do that as often as possible. If you're looking for coaching in how to get your dating life a little more up to snuff in 2022 and beyond, would love to be of assistance to you. The ways to contact me are pretty simple: at PO Perception on Twitter and or in the About Me section of the YouTube page. We continue to be of benefit to you that way. Uh, there are many things that people think are negative in the dating world, and they aren't always negatives. So this is kind of a video of or an audio of traits that aren't bad to have, but people may think they are. The first is being shy. Many people would prefer a potentially shy partner because they're not worried about that person being so extroverted that there's a lot of competition around them. So people that believe that being shy is a bad trait are often narrow-minded or short-sighted because they're not necessarily seeing the benefits of the shyness. That is, the benefits of kind of looking at things from another perspective. That being shy also means that more emotionally intimate details aren't shared with everybody. So the next thing is clumsiness. A lot of times, if a person is clumsy, they need assistance, they need help. They're also shown as vulnerable and fallible, and so vulnerability can be an attractive trait. Now, unfortunately, many people that have tendencies towards narcissism and other personality disorders take advantage of vulnerability, but with a person that has a pure heart, the idea that someone could be or is vulnerable can be super valuable for a number of reasons, including their willingness to or need to ask for help on a more consistent basis. The next is a person that embarrasses easily. Now, if you embarrass easily, this can often be frustrating for you, but it for the other person, it could be a sign that, hey, this person really cares what I think or what they think of me or what I think of them, and that level of caring can actually draw them together, and ultimately make them look at you a little differently and a little more positively, in so much that you are kind of seeing them as, a more, I don't even want to say negative person, but a person who has different viewpoints than you do, and ultimately managing to move forward in that way. Next is nerdiness. So a nerd is a person who lots of people don't want to be because they don't want to be seen as not cool, not hip. But for people who are very intellectually based and they connect with people based on intellect as opposed to just physical attraction or emotional chemistry, dealing with a nerd who has very direct and maybe specific interests can be something that is valuable because, like, hey, this person gets me, especially if they have common ground with you on the things that you're nerdy about. So the next is oversharing. So sometimes there are people who obviously don't want to hear every detail of your life, but there are the group of people who actually find oversharing to be easier. I happen to be one of them, in that the more you tell me about what your needs are, the easier it is for me to meet them. So if you think you're oversharing, you're actually making my life easier because I don't have to spend a lot of time trying to figure out what your needs portfolio is. Not that that's lazy, but I deal with so many people in the world that the person who overshares, but is also a concise communicator, so they don't say the same thing multiple times, but they just kind of sort of look at life and say, here's who I am, what I am, and they feel like they've overshared because they feel like they've been too honest, which is the other aspect of things. The level of honesty the person puts forward is also something that can be either super attractive or not, depending on the needs of the individual in front of them. So honesty for some people is uncomfortable because it comes across as blunt, but for other people who prefer to know where they stand with a person without having to play a bit of a guessing game, honesty can be super super valuable. And the last thing there is allowing another person to be supportive of them. So The allowance of support is one of those things that is an interesting thing. On one hand, you don't want to deal with someone who's constantly needy. You don't want to deal with a person who's constantly, um, stressed or in a negative space. But on the other hand, if a person is very open with what their needs are, very communicative, and allowing support to be given in their general direction, that can be beneficial and helpful. So, I encourage you to keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.